Welcome to Domination Travels, and today we are taking you through Dominic's recent 2-day road trip from Las Vegas to the Grand Canyon and back. The Grand Canyon is one of the natural wonders of the world and a popular site to visit from Las Vegas, but it does take 4 hours to drive out there, and there is cost to travel and visit it. So in addition to showing you how you can spend your time visiting the Grand Canyon, at the end of the video, we'll give you our thoughts on if it's worth taking the trip to visit this landmark. So let's go. Along the way to the Grand Canyon, 30 minutes outside of Las Vegas is the Hoover Dam. The Hoover Dam was constructed in the 1930s and is a marvel of engineering, as it was the largest concrete structure when it was completed. For a breathtaking view of the dam, I recommend taking a couple minutes to walk along the Memorial Bridge. It's a great way to appreciate just how big the Hoover Dam is. Next, I drove down to the dam to see it up close, and I recommend for parking you drive across the dam to the Arizona and keep driving for a bit until you'll find free parking. Otherwise, you will have to pay $10 to park on the Nevada side.
Alright, so I finally made it here to the Hoover Dam, and just going to take a stroll along the top. You can do a power plant tour or check out the visitor center, but those things do cost money, and it does take a little bit of time, especially on a day where I'm crunched for time to try to get to the Grand Canyon before sunset. So I'm just going to do this free walk across and enjoy the amazing views on the top of this man-made wonder.
Now it's easy to spend a lot of time at the Hoover Dam, but the Grand Canyon is still 3.5 hours away, so it's back into the car and onto the highway. While 3.5 hours is not the shortest drive, it is at least an interesting drive because the landscape changes several times as you cross through different climate zones. When you finally reach the inside of the park, you can park your car by the visitor center before exploring the Grand Canyon. And if you need ideas for what to do, the Visitor Center will provide plenty of information to get you started. But if you're anxious to see the Grand Canyon right away, then just walk a couple minutes from the Visitor Center to Mayhair Point for a sweeping view that will truly take your breath away. One of the best ways to experience the Grand Canyon in all its majesty is to go on a hike down the canyon rim. Of the many hiking trails available, I decided to try out the South Kaibab Trail, which is well regarded for its scenic pathway.
Alright, so I'm finally made it to the South Kaibab Trail, and hiking this trail is amazing. Like, this is, it just takes my breath away. I wish that it wasn't so snow covered because it means I have to go a little bit slower and I'm probably not going to go as far as I want, but it really makes for some beautiful pictures and videos seeing the Grand Canyon with this little snow sprinkling on the top along the trails. It's actually pretty cool. So, summer is probably the most popular time, but man, winter is pretty cool too to check it out. So, and I'm going to keep going and seeing how far I can go and what I can see.
Although hiking in the winter was cold, the one nice thing I didn't have to worry about was overheating. But if you are here in the summer, it will get scorching hot, so bring plenty of water. Unfortunately though, because I arrived later than planned, I could not hike down as far as I wanted. So I took a break at Point to enjoy the splendor of the canyon. I could have spent all day here, but as the sun began to set, it was time to head back up and call it a day.
Looks like day 2 is going to begin with some snow, so I better drive carefully. The plan is to get some more views over the south rim of the Grand Canyon, and then head out to Horseshoe Bend, and then Antelope Canyon. So let's see how this goes.
With my bags packed and coffee in hand, I drove into Grand Canyon National Park to drive along the south rim on Desert Road when I discovered that my plans were going to have to be adjusted.
So I ran into some bad news. Because of the snow, the road going along the south rim actually is closed. So that means it's going to block off a couple of the points that I want to see, and it's going to make me have to go all the way back up and around in order to get to Horseshoe Bend. So this is a bit of a problem, but at least there's one site that is open for the road that's still like able to drive through. So I'm going to check it out and then head along that long detour. All right.
Though having the road closed was an inconvenience, the overnight snowfall did add an extra dimension to an already spectacular view of the Grand Canyon. And after taking a couple minutes to soak in what would be my last view from the park, I set back out for my detour ride to Page, Arizona. The 3-hour drive was long but captivating as I drove from the snowy terrain of the park into the dry red-soiled grounds of northern Arizona. First up is a trip through the otherworldly Antelope Canyon. The Antelope Canyon is found on the Najavo tribe grounds and was formed from the erosion of sandstorm during flash floods until narrow corridors were eventually created and then smoothed out to form the flowing shapes that exist today. Once inside the canyon, it was such a treat to enjoy and photograph it, as I've never seen anything like it before in my life. Because Antelope Canyon is on Navajo grounds, you must be part of a registered tour to visit it, and videos are not permitted unless you have a permit, which is why I can only show you pictures. Finally, to end off the road trip, I'm going to perhaps the most photographed spot of the Grand Canyon, which is Horseshoe Bend. As the name suggests, this is the point where the Colorado River snakes through the rock in a bend that looks exactly like a horseshoe. And while the sharp cliffs are potentially dangerous, they do make for an absolutely epic scene. It's a beautiful spot to soak in the splendor of this planet, and a great place to get some amazing photos that you can remember forever.
Okay, so that was Horseshoe Bend, and that was pretty awesome. And that means it's also the end of my Grand Canyon road trip. So I gotta drive 4 hours back to Las Vegas, and then when I get back there, I'll give my verdict. Was taking all this time to go to the Grand Canyon worth it? Would I recommend that for you to do if you head out to like Las Vegas or Phoenix or somewhere nearby to make a road trip out here? So let's hit the car and I'll let you know. Alright, so I'm finally back in Las Vegas after a really long return trip, and the first thing I gotta say is that route that goes on the north side of the Grand Canyon through South Utah and North Arizona is incredible. Oh my goodness, the geological features, these red cliffs rising from the ground, and especially at sunset with how the light hits it was incredible. So I really recommend that route to be taken either to the Grand Canyon or on the way back. It was awesome. The main question, after 2 days there and exploring the Grand Canyon and some things around it, was it worth it? And in my opinion, absolutely yes. It was so awesome to see just such a massive, amazing wonder. Like, all the photos that you've ever seen do not do this place justice. It was just incredible from the first glimpse, and getting a chance to hike and to look around was incredible. My only regret is that I wish I spent more time there. I wish that maybe I headed up an extra day in advance so I had more time to hike. And as well that the snow didn't come down, which closed down the road. That was kind of a bummer as well. But that was my thought. The Grand Canyon was totally worth taking a 2-day trip or 3 or however long that you want to do. So if this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to us. You can also follow us on Instagram at Domination Travels. Alright, so thanks so much and keep on traveling and see you next time.